G'day and welcome to episode, maybe 24 or 5. We don't have our man Praddy with us, but me and Dicko are running the show. We'll see how we go.
Dicko and I, Tom. Dicko and I. Come on, mate.
Dicko and I, he's got his little 6 to 8 month old Teddy with him. Maybe a few little cries like you just heard throughout the show, but we'll kick on and see how we go. We're at Flemington and Randwick again. The two headquarters, some great racing. Do you want to start with Randwick or Flemington, mate?
Let's kick off in Sydney, and before we do, full credit to you. As predicted, we're both coming in fresh.
Jeez, you've had a sharp as
our
well.
versions of sharpen up, skinny fades. Tom's off to do what he does best on Friday night, and Friday afternoon I'm off to do what I do best too, rob blokes of cash at golf. So it's a massive weekend, and we're getting the captain's run in nice and early. It's Thursday afternoon as we record this for you. We head to Randwick first, Tom. The rail's out 3 metres. Which race we're going to whack first? Is it the Randwick Guineas?
No, we'll start with race 4.
The Todman.
The Todman. The big lead-up race for the Slipper. A lot of Slipper winners come out of this race. It's probably the one you want to follow. But obviously we've got the favourite, Wotan, the big spruiked 2-year-old, 3 wide, no cover last start, came back on, couldn't really do much with that ride, but gets J-Mac this time with midfield. The track, before we touch on the track, it's a little bit of rain around Sydney, not as much as Queensland, but might get a little bit of it. Potentially soft 6, we just don't really know what the rain's really going to do, so we're going to wait and see, but just like Randwick, on just off the pace, midfield, coming down the lanes 4+. Probably don't want to be inside if it's wet as well. So we'll play around that. But yeah, Wotan, I've got it on top. It looks a bet. I'm a little bit gun shy diving into the short odds of 2-year-olds. I did it last week with Shaggy. Hindsight, should not have done it. Nothing against the trainer, but I don't know. Does he really know how to train a slipper winner? I know Chris Waller does. But
only recently Chris learned how to do it though, to be honest, and he only tends to do it with like $1 million plus horses. So I wouldn't have Chris as an elite 2-year-old trainer yet. I just have Chris as blessed in run off his very good work with these other horses.
Yeah, that's true. Sort of other horses that are definite chances. A North England that's trialled a bomb. Obviously got the form around Olay or whatever it's called.
Olay.
Through the Magic Millions, Tycoon Star, which was huge run last start. If I wasn't on Wotan, that'd be my second pick, Tycoon Star. Maps better this time, was a huge run, like blinkers on. Mark Zara gave it a really good ride in the Group 1 Blue Diamond. But other than that, it's a pretty sort of tough race. Like Palatine, you've really got to respect that SP. Scuzz loved it from the yard, like I'm talking like the biggest ride-up I've ever seen last start, and it's sort of popped. So do you respect that SP? It started $2.30 last start in a good race, but you sort of got to take a little bit of grain of salt with the 2-year-olds because it can be hard to judge. But
and there's a lot of Victorian form in this race too. Tantris comes through a dead heat with maybe Shining Smile, who backed up and won last week for us. God bless it. The Drifter, race 1. It also ran second, the Blue Diamond. First way of Sydney going and Natural Wheeler on. That's a significant jockey switch. He's a very different rider to other riders. You mentioned Tycoon Star. Thought it was absolutely enormous in the Blue Diamond. Aleppo Pine has a really nice SP in maybe a Diamond Prelude off that flaky Ballarat win. It popped at Caulfield, but back Sydney way, probably had to freshen up, probably had a little tick over, I don't know. And maybe the best named horse and the most appropriate trainers all time, Nepotism, for the Hawks boys. I mean, what a name, what a horse. I'll be cheering for it if I'm not betting.
Yeah, I think the thing with Tantris is blessed in run last start with some nice notes from Victoria. It will not get a nice run here. It's a wide draw. 11 of 12. Nash will really push forward. Nash doesn't really like to take him back, so I reckon he'll be aggressive. So maybe 3 wide. But,
I think sort of what you're saying. This is going to be an outstanding race, regardless.
Great race.
If you weren't betting, you could just be watching and enjoying.
Something to note, and I think you've probably put it into your bonuses for Wotan, is this horse. He needs to come top 2 to make the slipper. Like definite. If it doesn't come top two, it's still a bit iffy to make the slipper. So I'd say Chris Waller's got it cherry right for this race to get it in, and then onwards to the slipper. So it's a good race, really good race actually.
Where are we going next at Randwick on Saturday? We just hit race 4, the Todman. The next one is?
Let's go to the Randwick Guineas.
Which is race?
Race 7, 1,600 metres. Good race again this. There's some angles you can sort of take everywhere. We'll start with the toppy, Broadsiding.
The Scurry Mail here has really graded me up. Like, he's basically sort of saying that last prep wasn't a believer. Saw it in the yard. Big boy.
Yeah. It's tough to, like, I don't think I can bet against him, sorry. Just get that right. Hamish told me to get them right. Make sure you're calling it his and hers. But, yeah, with Scuzz's yard last start, sort of, it's more like a wait for age horse. It's grown, it's bulked up. So it's a tough one to assess. $1.60. $1.60 he's, geez, it's hard to get it that low. Was blessed in run last start. It's going to probably go forward again, I'd assume. The run out of the race was Swiftfalcon.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. We were talking about its sectionals and they were delicious.
Yeah, they're very, very sexy. It's just going to have to get back all the way to last again. And it did take a lot of ground off Broadsiding last start, but is Broadsiding even better? How much does Broadsiding improve over 1,600? And then Aliana, I think that really started to get warm the last 200 metres last start. Comes out of the same race again. And sort of Broadsiding got the back of Broadsiding last start. Broadsiding went at the 400. It couldn't really go with it. And then the last 200, you could see it just clawing it back. So there's another one. And the other really interesting runner for me is Linebacker. Linebacker was nearly backed into favourite against Broadsiding. And you've got to respect that market. It's first up, it was not suited in front, leading over 1,200 metres. Second up, backed in from $7s to $3 or some ridiculous price, nearly into $3.60. Well, was into $3.60, Broadsiding about $3, and misses the kick, gets cut off, back to the inside, not suited up the lane. So
this is where the SP angles can get blurry, and I think like what you have to understand if you're punting at home and you're thinking, I'm going to start taking a bit more serious, like Tom is, and it's working for Tom. Tom had one of the greatest bets all time Wednesday. Cool Jakey, look it up. It was not only a great win, but it was an absolute steamer in betting. You can get blurred by the SPs because you can say what you're saying and justify backing Linebacker, or you could say, yeah, and then Broadsiding started 6.50 at Cox Plate, so shut up. Like, basically what you do in racing after a little while when you need to do content especially is you find the horse you want to back with enough like confidence, and then you just like basically go through the form and find a reason to sort of say why, you know? So I don't know what to do with Linebacker, and I'm fascinated to see what the market does with it late, because that SP is getting older, but it's there.
And it's going to get the absolute dream run, and it gets K-Mac to Lloyd. And
Lloyd's on fire, isn't he?
Yeah. And
shout out to Jake Lloyd, 250 on Friday night, the great man.
Yeah. Bloody
still remember that big bomb from outside the arc when we needed it last year. Beautiful stuff from you, Jake, and hope you have a great night on Friday night. So,
make that a bit shorter, I'm probably not going to bet in the race. I've got Broadsiding about $1.90. Swiftfalcon about $4. Aliana about 6-ish. And Linebacker about 10. So, all around the market.
Is this read right? Essentially, how can you bet into this race if you're going to go anyway other than Broadsiding, which J-Mac, Barrier 4, great form, wait for age, Victorian, Cox Plate form. Like, what can you do?
Yeah.
There's no, like, if it was drawn 1 or 12, you can start to sort of think about, well, it's going to get a bad run, I'm going to have a play. But
you're a brave man if you're betting against Broadsiding, that's all I'll say.
And I'm not a brave man. Just ask Ems. The next race, the Canterbury Stakes, is that what we're doing? The Group 1 weight for age, 1,300 metres. Jailwolf, Here to Shock, Airman, Militarised, Gelded, Nutless. Yep. Without its pills, Pericles, blessed in run, very good behind Brightside last start. Oh, the list goes on. Magic Time, Switzerland, off a black caviar down the straight, if you don't mind. And then we'll just throw in a bit of Bjorn magic with an actual proper horse of Bjorn's back, Steffi Magnetica. What are we doing?
I feel like a bit weak here again. It's a very tough race to assess. I reckon if you wake up Saturday morning and there's rain around, rain on race day, Magic Time, bet. Loves it heavy. Doesn't improve that much, but the others don't go as good. And it sort of just keeps its level. So a Magic Time map's an absolute treat. That's the bet if it's a heavy. If it's a soft 6, it makes it wide open. Wolf, I don't think will win. It's obviously missed a run last start, so it's sort of running for fitness. Barrier 1's going to be full back defence. Here to Shock was huge in the Group 1 over in New Zealand. Will go forward, create its own luck. Militarise. It's trialled pretty nicely after no success in the bedroom. Sunshine in Paris is trialled very, very nicely. Draws outside.
Can't you wait till you're not... how good's it going to be when you're retired and we talk about that? So much stuff has rolled through my head and I can't say any of it. Also, my kids are in the room, but... Yeah. We'll get there, guys. Hang with us. We'll be there in 3, 5, maybe 7 years. We don't know. Depends how the rig holds up. So what are we doing here?
We're doing absolutely stuff all, really.
Yeah.
Tough race. Again, maybe wait for Scuzz, but I don't know. Won't be any bets on the early crow.
Great race, though. Can't wait to watch it, honestly. There's some cracking racing up there in Sydney on Saturday. Any other races we want to look at up at Randwick on Saturday, mate?
No, we'll get to the Bolt after you run through a bit of Flemington.
The Betfair Value Vault. Gamble responsibly, 100 FF8 is at the website. Let's head to Flemington. It's tough up there, to be honest, guys, and I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball. A little bit of a setback at Woolworths this afternoon. Or it could have been Coles. Get in touch. Let Praddy know. We'll get around you. Race 7 is the All Star Mile 7-horse field. Brightside, Tom Kitten, Light Infantryman. Another Will, Rise at Dawn, and a Tissue, and Flying Trapeze in there to pick up 40k for running last. Full credit to it. I've got it 2,500 to 1. Don't think it can win.
Before you start, what are your thoughts? This media's blowing up about the All Star Mile. What are your actual thoughts on it?
Couldn't care less. Couldn't give a shit. It's just another race. You've got the best weight for age horse in Australia over a mile in the race. Job done. If you and I, which we'll never do unless we are absolutely desperate, broke after you've retired, we will never be running racing. What a low job. What a boring job. It's not. How can we? We can't go, hey Kieran, put another horse in the race, mate. Chris, I want 2 horses. Gay, where's your horse? You just put the race on, and if they show up, they show up. It's a $2.5 million race, or 3.5, or something. It's a lot of money. It's a mile. It's at Flemington. It's a nice platform into an Australian Cup or into the Sydney Carnival. Yeah, I don't know what more you could do, to be honest. Rise at Dawn, I think, is the most exciting horse in the race, the progressive horse in the race. Got no luck. Not no luck. It's very poorly in at the weights, at weight for age. It's got a significantly lower handicap rating than Mr. Brightside, as example, which makes it really hard to sort of have at the price they're offering you. A Tissue needs rain. I don't think we're going to get it, and I hope we don't. Playing on the peninsula, it's looking outstanding at the moment. Sunny, but not too hot. Tom Kitten, completely blessed in run. It'll drift late, 100%. Light Infantryman is a B grader. These are A grade. I think there's 3 horses that are proper ready to go. It's Tom Kitten, another Will, Brightside. A Tissue wants it wet, won't get it. Tom Kitten's too short. Rise at Dawn, bad at the weights. So then we're talking, is it another Will or is it Mr. Brightside? Another Will's gone on a different platform. Had the cold sit tag on Mr. Brightside in whatever the race was when they were both first up at Caulfield. They gapped the rest. We backed another Will that day, Tom. Ran over top of it. God bless it. They've taken it off the boil a little bit, given it a little tick over. Comes now. That day at Caulfield, Brightside SP'd much shorter. What was it? I got it right here. Stand by. 330 another Will versus 260 Brightside with a wider draw. They both got nice draws here. Brightside's got on and really tough win in maybe the Futurity it's called, the 1400 metre Group 1. I think Brightside with the extra run under its belt at a race level, only third up for a tough warrior veteran champion, is a better platform, but the small field and race shape makes them vulnerable. If I had to bet, it's Brightside. I don't like blinkers off. That could mean that the horse is absolutely airborne. But it's a little bit like the races in Sydney where, I don't want to spend 3.5 units on the two favourites to make a little earn out of the race. I'd probably rather just find another betting opportunity on the day. But if I had to have a play, it's Brightside to beat another Will. And I reckon Rise of Dawn will punch on.
You're saying same race multi out there. Top two, Rise of Dawn, top 4.
Yeah. For the Jimbos of this world.
Yeah.
And then the other race on the card that this is like, so the same people that put on the All Star Mile put on this race, and the Newmarket is like unbelievably good. This is unbelievably exciting, this race, and there's every good horse in Australia that sprints is just about here, and it's $5 a field almost. The favourites, Jolie Star, who your beautiful note was wide no cover, not suited, but good. Savage the Lion, first up, Rosehill or Randwick. Heads to here, gets Karen to D-Lane, forms outstanding. This horse started $6.50 in an Everest.
And was good, held up.
The list goes on. Benedetta, very, very good. First up in the Black Caviar, inferior ground. SP's handy, loves the straight. Mar Harbour, it was almost just like a barrier trial versus Ray Magnerio. It started shorter than it that day. Ray came out and ran huge in the Oakley Plates, had a tick over since. Buenos Noches, trials poor, form okay, first go Kieran. Jolie Star, I think, is very hard to beat. Ticks a lot of boxes, we just spoke about it. Ray's flying. Ray loves the straight. Growing Empire, blinkers off, second up. It reads panic stations to me. Mark Zara sticks though. It wins, you're not surprised, but can you back it at 650? I think not. Ostraka was good, I thought, in the Oakley Plate, here to run a race. Stretton Angel's too short. Stretton Angel started $21 versus Growing Empire $6.50, and Benedetta $11 in the Black Caviar. Now you're taking $7.50. No thanks. Very nice horse, loves the straight, but too short. It's Our Time's going to get out to $51, and you need to have it on your side if you're betting to this race. It's a straight track, like Thoroughbred, loves it, and was very good at the Valley behind Swartz, which it doesn't love the Valley. It's flying. Shripper wasn't a great ride in Oakley Plate. I think it's going to drift from the $19, $20 you're seeing now. You get 41s later. If you're playing in the vault, maybe it's one for the vault. Head Wall was blessed, but good. Started $26 in the Oakley Plate. Now they're trying to give you 14s, too short. Super Razzie was a very nice last prep without winning. Espionage and Gatsby's. They meet, like Gatsby's meets Growing Empire 6-5, somewhere around that, kilos better than in the Coolmore last spring. Gatsby's, we backed it, Tom. Part of our site, we backed 3 or 4 in that race. We took $26. We took $26. Gatsby's in the Coolmore last year, Tom, and it was a good enough run. Ran 5th, followed the winner. Espionage was 4 wide, no cover, enormous in the Oakley Plate. Yendel Sticks, 50 kilos, blinkers on. Had heat stress in the Stewards report after that Oakley Plate run. I know you like your Stewards reports at that moment. I think your 2 plays, if you need to, and I haven't yet, but we'll put these in the Betfair vault, the 14 Espionage and the 15 Gatsby's. I think Jolie Star, clearly the hardest to beat and deserves to be favourite in this year's edition of the Newmarket at Flemington.
KT10.
Highly credentialed Hong Kong rider. Rides Hong Kong, proper.
Yeah. Gatsby's not suited last start. Randwick, I reckon. Maybe, potentially from memory.
Not suited last start, Sydney.
Yeah, I backed it. And it was slow tempo, not suited. So, wide barrier usually plays down the grandstand side, down the straight, you reckon, or you just want to see?
You can wait and see. I think you just don't want to be back like in that back third in a great race like this. You know, if your horse is ready in a lower race on Saturday, then so be it. You know, we saw a number of horses make ground there last Saturday in the straight races, but I don't think you want to give the Jolie Stars or, I don't know, you take your pick, the Growing Empires of this race, you know, a 5-length advantage just to give them a 5-length advantage.
This is this just sums up Waller for mine. Just scrapes Gatsby in there, grand final, Group 1. So I like that. Like the bet of Gatsby's.
Anything else?
Espinage second up off a really long break, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah, like, I don't love either of them, to be honest, but I just like the prices that you can get right now as a small spend at big odds to have 2 horses to cheer for in a great race. I think you could probably add Mar Harbour to your team too. It'll start a big price. I'd say all 3 of those will be bigger than you'd expect late. They're going to crunch Jolly Star. They might even whack Growing Empire. Benedetta there'll be support for. Ray Magnirio will get cleaned up late, I'd say. Yeah. All right, it's time for the Betfair Value Vault. Betfair offers great odds, especially those that are outside of the market. Example, Saturday, Flemington Race 4, Pivot City, $17 best tote, $22 Betfair SP. That's 28.7% better odds. Tom, what's your tip this week for the Betfair Value Vault?
The Betfair Value Vault tip is number 8, race 3, number 8, Dreamside. Now, last start, Canterbury, back last. Yes, the race shape was suited to it, but Kieran McAvoy's come up the fence, sort of held up slightly. The track that day played rails, so it was a really smart ride by Kieran. Come up the fence, sort of held up a little bit. The winner of that race, yeah, it was a better run than that Mahuna for the
Mahuna.
It was a much better run. It's hooned up the fence. The horse third there was Autumn Blonde, who was 3 wide, no cover.
Yeah.
2 weekends ago, huge run on the speed. Sort of franks the formula a little bit. I think that horse will go on potentially. Will be running in the Magic Night and run a really good race. So the form sort of stacked up a bit. It's K-Mac to Tyler Schiller. K-Mac lost the ride. He was meant to ride it on Friday night and didn't have it booked for Saturday. So he's lost the ride there. But yeah, I just think it's a good bet. Wide to inside draw, sort of middle draw. Plenty of speed outside. We'll get to those sort of wider lanes and yeah, around the $34. I think it's a great each way play.
My Betfair Value Vault play for Saturday's Flemington Race 10, number 10, Fearless Rider. Drawn to Luke Curry on. I think it's going better than the odds suggest. $71 around right now, Thursday afternoon, night. If it runs here, it's also in at Moonee Valley. If it runs here, you're going to get a big fat price. What's your best there on Saturday at Randwick? As Teddy starts to roar as we begin to wrap up this edition of the Captain's Run.
Bloody tough card, to be honest. If I had to choose one now, and I'll probably have to convince myself, if I don't have too many bets, let's be honest, I'm probably going to back Wogan.
You'll find 1 or 2. Yeah. Or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6.
Yeah, so I'll say my best is Wogan. Let's be honest, if you're only going to have 1 or 2 bets for the card, you may as well have a crack at Wogan. So, yeah, best of the day would be Wogan.
Put it all up with this. Flemington, race 4, number 10. For our man, Dan Bowman, Billy Egan, Group 1 Billy. Drawn inside, 54 kilos, $2.80. Gamble responsibly, 1-800-858-858, or visit the website. But is it me into Woderton? That's our Captain's Run all up. Have a phenomenal weekend whatever you're doing and wherever you are. Please gamble responsibly. Make sure you roar home the Swans Friday night. Good luck on Friday night in round 0, my man. We're all cheering for you. And I reckon that's just about the Captain's Run.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call 1-800-858-858 or visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.